Hi, welcome back to Repairing Lawnmowers for Profit. I've just actually got a Honda HRB 423. The customer contacted me about this, saying it just wanted a pull cord on it, and I asked him to bring it down and have a look at this. So I said that's okay, I'll have a look at it. And what's actually happened to this is that the spring inside here, the spring that sits inside this recoil, has actually snapped at one end, so I might have to order another part. It might just be as easy to order this full piece. But I asked the owner of this, I said, is it all working okay apart from that? And he said it was, and it may very well have been, but I suspect it hasn't been working at all, because I've just taken this to bits. I've taken this off, and taken this off here, this petrol cap. If you actually look here, this is, if your ignition isn't working, if you're not getting a spark, at all, this actually needs to engage this micro switch here. So if you've checked for spark and you haven't got any, this is where the micro switch actually activates from here. And this was that far away. If I can film it and pull the handle as well, you can see it just touches it. It is actually better now I've done it. I was pulling the lever fully and I was still that far away from it activating. So I can't see myself how the previous owner of this mower's actually had this running. Also, I was only getting one chance to start it because there's no spring in this recoil. I'm having to manually wind it up, and I tried it a couple of times and it seemed to pull over nice, but there was just no spark at all. Tested that and nothing there. So if you're struggling with a Honda, one of these HRBs, anything with a Gv100 engine on, and you're not getting any spark at all, it's this micro switch here. This has to be working exactly properly. You can test it actually. If you wanted to just cable tie this micro switch and put it all back together, you could test it. The only problem with doing that is when you let go of the safety, it won't stop. You'll have to just put it onto choke here, and that'll eventually stop it, and it'll eventually cut out. So just a quick tip really. Another thing that I suspect that it hasn't had a lot of use by the guy that brought it in is, he said the rear roller works, and it does. So once again, it could be true that it does work, but it spins, but there's not enough power there to actually push this mower along. So either he hadn't used it for a long time, or he's just got it, or I don't know what's happened exactly. But I offered to serve this up for £50, and looking at the work that needs doing with it, I think I was being very fair really. So I've actually contacted him, and they've actually asked me to just skip it for him. So I can do really what I want with it. I can break this down for bits, so I could sell it for spares or repair. But you know, I'm going to have to pay for a recoil for it. I'm going to have to sort the micro switch out. I ain't got a grass box with it, and it's also got a rear roller on this. And with mowers like this, people like these to be absolutely spot on. These are expensive pieces of kit. Normally gardeners using these. If you haven't got the grass box and the drive doesn't work, no one really wants to push along a rear roller. I discussed this on the Masterclass DVD, that these are ones to avoid. Luckily for me, I've got this for nothing. They've just given me this eventually to get rid of. So this is what I say about avoiding these ones with a rear roller. Now there may be a bit of adjustment on that, but it's not worth the time doing that. This is better off breaking this down for spares and selling it, or selling it for spares or repair. But there's loads of good bits on this. Loads of good bits. This petrol tank's still in good order. The micro switch itself is still in good order, because I've just had the cable tie on that and tried it. And everything else, this ignition coil, even the oil dipstick, there's parts that people will want off this. If you were to list this on eBay as spares or repair, or just list it as one wheel nut, which is a popular thing people do, and just put in your description, contact me, and I'll give you a price. You may get someone just wanting a handle, or may just wanting this throttle mechanism or the spring off it, or anything. Some people just, you know, need a governor spring or something like that, or even just the cap or a plug. You never know, especially the carburettor. I mean, after all, I can sell all the parts off this, because this lawnmower does actually work. So I'm going to just put this back together and just show you it running. So I've altered this micro switch now. You just bend this tab over, get it so it actually moves the switch and works. I'm going to put this all back on there, as you can see. What I've got to do with this is just manually wind the back of it until all this pull cord goes back in. I'm just putting this back on now, as you can see. With actually winding this by hand, obviously this pull cord, I only get one go at it starting. I had a couple of goes just before I checked anything over really, and as I've said, it did pull over okay, and I couldn't really understand. I checked the fuel line was all getting through, and I just actually undid this the bottom of the carb round here. I just undid round there, just let a bit of fuel come through just to make sure it was all running through nice and clean. So I'll just put this last one on here, and we'll just I'll show you this running. I'm not sure if this micro switch is set completely right yet. It might just be a little bit too tight, so the automatic stop might not work until I put it onto choke. But they normally fire up brilliant to these, so if you've got one that ain't firing up and everything seems okay and you've got no spark on a Honda mower with a Gv100 engine, that's where the ignition is. If you haven't got that switch working right, you won't get any spark, and of course it will not start. So it might just help someone out. If it does, just post on the comments below. That'll be really helpful. So I'm just going to fire this up. As always, make sure there's nothing underneath this mower before I start it up as well. I'm going to get one go at doing this, so I'll just put it onto choke and pull it over, and hopefully it'll keep running. Ah, right, okay. I'm going to try and start this. So you step back a minute, David, for me. I'll put it onto choke. You think it'll go?
Yeah.
Get one go at doing it, and make sure this plug's attached first. I took that off to do a bit of a repair. So let's try it. You can see it starts and runs okay. It's a bit lumpy, don't idle exactly as it does, but it does run. I mean, there's nothing, you know, nothing that wouldn't cut your grass. The drive doesn't work, as I've said, just spins around a bit. But I'm not really sure what to do with this. Might sell it for spares or repair, or I might, don't know. Might sell it for spares or repair. I might just take it for bits and see what happens with it. It seems a shame to not put it back working right, but with the drive being a mess, I probably will leave it. The idea of this video was to help anyone out who's having an ignition problem on one of these Honda HRB mowers with a Gv100 engine. These parts are about, I think they're around £25. You can actually buy the spring, but it's a faff. That'll be about £5 anyway. So this isn't one for me to repair for profit. It's just too much work with the drive at the back and not having a grass box. I'm going to actually list this. I've decided I'm just going to list this for parts. Seems a shame as it's running, but hopefully this video will help someone out. Thanks very much for watching. There's more like this on the website at repairinglawnmowersforprofit.com. There's also the Honda Repair Manual DVD on there as well, which will help you out if you're trying to service the carburettor on a mower such as this with a ball carburettor, especially the Honda Izzy GCV engines as well. That's all covered on there. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again shortly.